Hello, everybody. How are you? Here on the south side of Pittsburgh right now as the sun sets. It's 6 o'clock. A beautiful day today. Just an unbelievable sunset with rings of clouds. It's kind of hard to describe. But just a great day in the Steel City. So we're continuing our series on communities around. We're going to talk about Whitaker, which is here on the south side of the city, across the river. And Whitaker really has an interesting background. I had no clue about it. I was at the Chick-fil-A and a lady in line heard me talking to my agent, and she said, "You got to do a video on Whitaker." I'm like, "Whitaker?" So she gave me the background. I'm going to share it with you in this Joe Ditzel parody video. And Whitaker is a really fascinating community because when you think about the breakdown of the name, like how they came up with the name Whitaker. Now, I believe it's spelled Whitakers, I believe, which is a combined name from what it used to be and from its original inspiration. Okay, and that was... Is this bus going to move? No. All right, we're going to go around. The original town was called Whitakers. Whitakers was a concept community by a early group of comedians and circus clowns and writers, avant-garde writers, humorists, people along the lines of like S.J. Perlman, those kind of people from that from the late 1800s, early 1900s, but way back. So if you could picture a humor writer in the 1750s starting their own community, a group of them, that was the nature and purpose of Whitakers. And the whole idea was to surround yourself with people of the same, not only trade and skill, but the same brainwaves, the same bent, the same tendencies, right? So, for example, people say right-brained, okay? That was part of it. It was to be around people that were right-brained. Now, that's not how they thought of it at the time. In fact, some of the language they used was people of the same temperament. You'd hear that. Or people of the same humor. They didn't even say humor. They called it humor. So it was a different time, and I'm not really sure how much great comedy or humor came out of the 1750s. I can't think of any landmark books or pieces of... But nonetheless, they started Whitakers to be around their own kind, because when you're a comedian, so many people are like, "Comedian, huh? Tell me a joke." Like in those days, it was like, "Humor writer, huh? Write me a page. Write me an article. Write me an essay." Okay? And eventually you just want to be with your own kind of people that understand the trials and tribulations of your trade, of your community, of your industry, your niche, your job. And that's the original idea of Whitakers. So the problem was that in 1750 in Pittsburgh, you didn't have that many people anyway. You only had a few thousand people, and I mean, in the city today, there's 2.4 million people in the greater area, and you have what, about maybe 50 comedians and writers, humor writers at most. Okay, and so then you only had a few thousand people. You didn't have that many humor writers and comedians anyway, so you had like 5 houses in the town. And so, while it was great for community, it wasn't so great for functionality, because the trash would pile up. And one of the comedians would say to a humor writer, say, "Hey, bro, are we going to get a trash pickup?" And the guy'd say, "Ha, ha, ha, that's hilarious. That's good stuff. Keep writing that. Keep developing that." And he's like, no, we need trash pickup." Oh, man, that is great. I love it. Just keep working on it. Dude, you're making me mad. I've got 3 trash barrels full of trash. It's overflowing the edges. The rats are coming around. Kids are knocking over my trash cans. Garbage is flying all over the city. Who is running this little burg we live in? And he's like, "Oh my God, dude, you're killing me. You got to stop." Right? So you can see the problems when you have a bunch of showbiz people together. Nobody picks up the trash. Okay, nobody sweeps the streets. Nobody. What about police? What about fire? Okay. So it didn't last long as Whitakers and some sane people, non-comedians, some sane people had to come in, all right, people that are not insane, and they're adults. The adults in the room had to come in and add some functionality, some management, some practicality to these showbiz types. And that's when they changed the name to Whitaker. And they invited normal people to come and settle the area. Because Pittsburgh is expanding like a weed. They couldn't just have this little Whitakers off to the side, hogging the land, not letting people buy land and build homes. So they invited regular people in. And now you can go to Whitaker and see the original 4 or 5 homes of the original comedians from the 1750s, 1760s. It's a little, they're small. The people were a lot smaller then. An adult male was only like 5 feet tall. So you might have to duck down if you're a tall character. You might have to duck down, but you can see how they lived, and you can see the writing tables. You can see the little stage they set up to test their material. Little open mics they'd have, and so it's really interesting. That's in Whitaker today, the original Whitakers. So guys, I have no clue about this stuff. This is what's so interesting about Pittsburgh, is the constantly unfolding surprises in the book of Pittsburgh. Chapter after chapter is surprising, page after page unravels, unveils something new and exciting, and wow, you got to come to Pittsburgh and visit. Until next time, this has been another Joe Ditzel parody video. We'll talk to you soon.